LastPass is the one that we like. I'm going to get into that. There's a number of reasons why we like that. Now, if you are if you're using this yourself individually, LastPass is free. They're pretty generous with that. There's a lot you can do with the free version. There's some other password managers out there that also have a free version. And they're pretty limited in what you can do. Like you can only be logged into, I know there's one, you can only be logged into one device at a time. With LastPass, the free version works well for almost everyone. And what you can do is you can have two instances of it. If you have one at work, if you have an instance that's tied to your work email address, you keep all your work stuff in there, then you might have another instance that is tied to your Gmail account or whatever your personal email account is. And that would have all your personal stuff in there, your banking passwords and stuff for at home. You can actually link those two together. If you're on the work version, which is the paid version, the professional version, then you can link those accounts together. No one can access passwords, period, but nobody can access the information or see what the accounts are that you have personally. If you have IT support managing a work-related LastPass, and if you leave your company, they simply unlink and you just walk away with it. It's really kind of cool. Moving along, I'm going to jump right over to MFA, because when we log into LastPass, we want to have, for those of you who don't know, MFA is multi-factor authentication. We want to have that turned on. We want an authenticator app on our phone. If you don't know what that is, ping me, book some time with me, 15-minute call or whatever, and we can cover what that is and why to use it. That's really the safest way to secure your passwords, and that's what we want to see everybody doing. What I need to kind of do is pull LastPass up here and jump back and forth a little bit. One of the nice things about LastPass, if it ever opens here, is, oh, there it is. It's behind my Zoom window. Give me just a second to log in. Actually, let me move this over to the other window so you can see. Can you guys see that, my LastPass? Okay, so when I hit login, it's gonna, well, there it is. Yeah, I logged in right before. So anyway, you can see a lot of my stuff here. You won't be able to see any passwords. But one of the really cool things that I like about LastPass is you have the ability to, somewhere in here, it's called sharing. It's down under my account settings. Sorry. There we go. Huh. Not showing up. Oh, well. There should be a settings here. And I don't know why I'm not seeing that. Anyway, it's there. There's an ability in LastPass to share your passwords, to have folders. Here we go. So you can see I've got all these different folders. Well, I've got one here that's shared C and B. So C is my the better half at home, and we share some logins. So she has this same folder in her LastPass, and she can see all of this stuff. And if one of us changes the password, then it's changed for the other as well. So that's a really cool feature. That is part of the paid version. It's not free. Some of the other things that you can do in here, and these are all free as well. You can have your credit cards in here so that you don't have to go find your wallet every time you buy something. This can also populate on directly into a website if you're using the browser plugin, as I am. So I'm going to pull that over here. Let you guys see that. So here is if I go to a site where I have to log in, I'm trying to think. Well, I can do it a number of ways. If I go to a site, it's going to say, I'll go to QuickBooks because I know that one comes up. If I go to QuickBooks and I go to sign in, it's going to, well, it's going to, helpfully, it's going to say, do you want to sign in? There you go. Now the password, you'll see this little box right here. And sometimes, by clicking on that box, it looks like I have to log back in again. Sorry. So this is not, to be perfectly honest, the most convenient thing in the world, but it's really necessary. And you have to type the right password.
Yeah.
So talking and typing.
For anybody watching along, this is configurable, but generally, like every time you reboot your computer, you put in your vault password.
Yeah, and there's an option to remember me for 30 days. So if you trust the thing. All right, so here I am. So I'm going to go back here, and as you can see, now I have a pop-up, and I can just hit that, and it will autofill the password. The other thing that I should note here is that's a little bit buggy. And what I mean by that is website developers develop websites in different ways. So it's possible that you would go to a website and the password field wouldn't populate automatically as it just did there. And that's because it's just developed with something that's a little bit off the radar. And what you can simply do is come up here. You'll see I have the number 1 there. That's telling me that it knows this website and it's got one login for it. So when I click here, I could actually come to this, click this down arrow, and I could say copy password. And then I could come in here like this, and I could paste it in with a Control V. And then I'm able to log into QuickBooks. So, it's as easy as that. You've got the same app on your iPhone or your Android phone. And, it's not a terrible thing to use. It's a little bit inconvenient. The other thing that I wanted to note, let me pull the other guy back up here again. All of this information is importable. So if you're using Google Chrome right now to store all those usernames and passwords, you can export that very easily into an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can import it into here, so you don't have to go and manually type in all of the things. The only thing that you're going to then have to do is you're going to want to go and organize it into folders. I haven't been overly good about that. As you can see, I've got 200 here out of the. Actually, I've got, I guess, 377 not in there. I've just started putting them in folders a couple of months ago and trying to segregate them. It's probably a good habit to be in. The other thing that LastPass can store for you, and this is useful on your laptop, is it will store Wi-Fi passwords. And that's something else that can get away from, if you're on a new device or you're on a device you haven't been on before, and gosh, you had connected to that before on your phone, but now you're on your laptop, then you can, here it is. You can just go into LastPass and you can pull that information up. The other thing that I wanted to show you, and I'm not sure why I'm not seeing there's a button that's supposed to be down here that I'm not seeing for some reason. It was there yesterday. But that button has a list of all the devices that I trust. And what that means is the first time I log into LastPass on any device, it's going to ask me to name that device. So my devices are laptop Edge, laptop Chrome, desktop Firefox, and that way, if I ever lost one of those devices, my laptop was stolen or my phone was lost, I can actually go in here and remove that from that trusted device list. And I'm really a little bit embarrassed that I can't find that this morning.
Is it in settings, Bill?
I went to settings and
okay.
I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing that. And I don't know if that's because we just went on to an enterprise version of this. So it might be that it's moved to a different place, but it was here yesterday as I was working on this slideshow, and now it's not here. And by the way, there's other things you can keep in here. I used my address book in Outlook, and I'm very happy with it, so I don't use it here. But it's exactly what it says. You can add, information about people in here if you so desire to do
That's
that.
mostly for your own addresses, Bill. Like, so you don't, if you want to enter it into forms.
Oh, is that right? So
Yeah.
you learned something new.
Because I always forget our corporate address when I need to use my corporate card.
Okay.
But I have it in my password manager.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think I already covered sharing. And again, that's on the paid accounts thing. The other thing on the paid accounts that is fairly significant is if you're in estate planning and you've got all this information to yourself. You don't share anything with anybody. Nobody knows your LastPass information. You're storing Bitcoin in there or something. And like that guy over in Europe recently who died, and nobody can get into his Bitcoin safe. So there's millions and millions of dollars tied up. Anyway, you can go in and designate a person who could get into your LastPass if you were to pass away. And I know that sounds a little bit wet, but here's the thing. If you pass away and you've got all these different accounts, think about how much easier you could make the life of whoever your executor is if they can just present your death certificate to the LastPass people, and then they're able to get in and get all your stuff. So that's food for thought. And again, that's on the paid version, not on the free version. Okay, so the other super cool thing, or at least I think it's super cool, is on the paid version that you have at work, you have what's called friends and family. So you automatically can add up to 5 other people to LastPass, not to your account. They would have their own account, and they would have all of the perks like sharing and the executor thing that I told you about. With their copy of it, it would be theirs alone. And if you leave the company, everybody just takes it with them as the free version. And again, you can link your personal one to your business one, and that would count as one if you wanted to do it that way. Again, it leaves work, it goes with you. So it's kind of a cool thing. The other thing I wanted to mention, and this is new, fairly new, is all the usernames that you're using in LastPass. Most of them are email addresses, as we all know. And I just figured out why I'm not having the button on here. It's because I need to reinstall the enterprise version on my computer. I was working on my laptop yesterday, so apologies for that, for not having that button. But the other thing that we'll do with all of these different usernames is it catalogs these, and it will monitor the dark web for your various email addresses and usernames to see if any of your passwords get compromised, and then it will notify you if you have a compromised password that's available on what we call the dark web. As I mentioned previously, there's a mobile version of this. It works almost exactly like what we've been talking about, or what I've been showing you. The difference, there's a little bit of a difference. I'm on an Android phone, I'm not on an iPhone, so I'm going to ask Andrew to weigh in on the iPhone. On the Android, a lot of times I have to minimize whatever the screen is and go copy the password out of LastPass. I'm not sure why that is. Some things it works fine, and some things, I've got to go that extra step. So how about the iPhone, Andrew? How does it work on there?
It's pretty good. So, and it's only very recently that a lot of progress has been made. iPhone and both Android, put in the mechanisms to support a password manager, where when we started using it, I don't know, if you remember, Bill, like the only way was to go into the app and copy the password.
Right.
Now in a lot of apps, a lot of web pages, you could just click a thing that will sense the app, bring up the appropriate account, you tap on it, and it logs in for you. which is really cool, like especially with banking apps where you have a long password and you don't want to know it. It's really useful for that. So the incidences of needing to go and copy and paste it are getting really low for me now on the iPhone.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so I just want to talk about the browsers real quick. So LastPass, I've been showing you the actual application that you download and you install. And I really should have been showing this to you in the browser because all those buttons I was looking for are there. If I'm in here and I want to, I can, again, I've got this little, it's called an extension. So it's up here in the upper right-hand corner. And you see the number one again is for that. If I go to something like Google, where I have multiple accounts, you'll see that the number 10 comes up here. So if I want to log in here, I've got a bunch of different options to choose from. All right, so I can also just go into my vault here. I would click on it and I would say, open my vault. And then it looks pretty much like it did in the other place, except I now have these things down here. And I'll start here with the security dashboard. This is giving me a security score. I'm telling on myself a little bit. I've been working on my passwords one by one by one by one. But I have so many of them. 248 of them are considered insecure or at risk. And I can actually go down the list. All the green ones are secure, but if I want to see the insecure ones, there it is. I can go and see all the different ones. See reused. That's me going back to before I use a password manager. And slowly but surely, I'm changing these. But I want to get rid of reused, and I want to get rid of weak. So this is helping me along. Right, you can see I've done a fairly good number of them, but this is, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to reinvent the wheel right away. You can go at your own pace to get yourself secure, but you should try to do some like I am. I'm trying to do at least 10 a week, so that eventually I get through this. And this also tells me I have multi-factor authentication active. I cannot believe it just logged me out. I probably hit something. Oh, there are some things that if you try to go into them, it'll make you re-authenticate just because it wants to make sure it's yours. And again, me talking and chewing gum.
Here, you type that and I'll talk, although you may be done, so I can stop talking.
Okay, now this is the multi-factor authentication. So I have to open up the authenticator app on my phone and I type in a code. The code changes every minute. So I don't have to remember. I'm also going to say, trust my computer for 30 days. And as you can see, this says Edge Windows, but what I'm going to say is Edge Desktop, because that's what I call this. Okay, we're back in. So on my security dashboard, I can see that I have my multi-factor authentication. It just lowered my score. Oh, there it goes. Okay, good. All right. Here under account benefits, you can see the LastPass for families that I talked about. Families is a benefit, and then account linking. You can access everything in both of your LastPass accounts with a single login, and your company admin never sees anything in your personal account, and your data goes with you when you go. So I haven't gotten there yet. I'm only using one LastPass, but ultimately I want to get my personal stuff separated. And there's the sharing center. I can add multiple folders I can share with multiple other people. And here in my account settings, I would come to change what's called my master password. That's the one password I have to remember. This is also the trusted devices I was telling you about. So, and I actually need to go in here and clean up. There's some of these computers I don't have anymore. I just have been lazy. But that's one of the things that you can do. This also tracks what are called equivalent domains. So if my username is bankofamerica.com, it knows the same one as it goes at bofa.com or mbna.com. And that's just a useful thing to have. Okay, moving along. And then under advanced options, we have our link. I could remove the linked account if I was doing that. I can also do the import export functions from here if I so desire. Right along. Got one more slide. Oh, there it is. Okay. Well, what can you expect to pay for all of this? So, like I said, you can use the free version of this. It's just you yourself. You wouldn't be sharing with anybody, and you wouldn't have, if you're in a work setting, there is a, well, work version, it's called the enterprise version, and it costs $7 a month per person. The advantage of that is if you're one of our clients, then it's something we manage for you. We never see your passwords that are in there, but if you get locked out, we can get you unlocked out, or if you have trouble with it, we can see the back end, we can see the usernames, we can see the accounts you have in there. We cannot see the passwords. So if that is something that you're interested in, you can book time with me, 15 minutes at hello.rx-it.com. You can email us on info@rx-it.com. You can use the free version at work as well. You just don't have any of the, there's some stuff that you can do in the paid. The other thing I forgot to mention in the paid version is we can recover old passwords, accidentally deleted passwords, or if you changed one in LastPass incorrectly. In other words, you went in and you manually typed in a new one and overwrote the old one. We can recover that way as well. So anyway, that is it. I'm gonna move to the questions. You pull the right window down here and see if I can find that. I think I have to stop. Oh, here it is. There it is. It's way up here. I'm going to stop sharing so I can get to the Q&A. There we go.
There's a good question in there.
Yeah. So did you already answer some of these? Oh,
Rodell was, yeah, in the chat. And then we have one question in, how do I choose a secure master password for LastPass, Bill?
Oh yeah. Okay. I love this. So I will tell you what I do. And this is just me. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. Let me start with what you should not do. You should not pick the name of your dog from when you were 7 years old and write it on a Post-it note and put it on your monitor or under your keyboard. By the way, thank you for the many years of doing that. As we, before we had the remote tools and we would go around to your desk and you were at lunch, we always knew your password. It would be, there under the keyboard or somewhere on a Post-it note. I'm going to tell you the way I do it, and then Andrew, maybe you can weigh in with the way you do it if you do it differently. I use random words, and I will give you an example. I'm looking around the room to pick out things. I would say red bookcases taste like chocolate. And I would write that down on a piece of paper and I'll put it in my wallet. And after I've logged in with it a few times, I'm going to remember what it is. It's long. It's a group of words. They're mashed together. And I'll throw some symbols in there and whatnot. It should not be one or two words. And I know there are many security experts out there that would tell you it shouldn't be words at all. You should make it 26 characters or 32 characters of nonsensical stuff. I have a memory problem. So that's what works for me. Don't use the lazy dog jumped over the fence or whatever that one is that we learned in typing. A lot of people are the quick brown fox or whatever that one is. A lot of people see that. So periodically I will change mine. I am now changing mine every 90 days. And there's an argument to be made for you don't really need to do it that often anymore. That's just me. So Andrew, how do you do it?
I'll be honest, I don't worry too much about password when you're using MFA. So you have to use it in concert with MFA to relax about your password. But when I set up people up with LastPass, I always tell them, of course, now I'm getting you out of the business of remembering passwords, except to do that, we need to have one password that you remember.
Right.
And the thing I always say for LastPass is it's got to be unique. It's a password you do not use anywhere else. And it has to be something that you remember because it's the one password, right, that gets you to your passwords. So my feeling on that is, as long as you have a decent amount of length, I'm okay with that. And you're using MFA, but you have to be using those two. And it has to be a password you don't use anywhere else. And if it's something that you're new to and you might not remember, usually like write it down and put it somewhere physically that's safe, just in case. You mentioned recovery bill. If you're using the free version, and this is the reason why LastPass is secure, if you don't remember your password, you can't get into it because LastPass uses that as a key to encrypt your passwords. So not even LastPass can decrypt your passwords. And that's the reason why LastPass can be breached, but yet nobody's passwords have been revealed because everybody gets breached.
Yep, sooner or later. Okay. Are there any other questions? And thank you for Rodell for answering those questions as we were going along. It looks like you saved us a lot of time. Anything else? Okay. So again, if anybody, yeah, I know that. That's by design. Oh well, let's go back over some of these questions because you're right. Nobody can see the questions except for us.
Oh, the ones in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you use the Q&A, people can see them, but you could go, you can go back.
That's fine. Yeah, so from now on, yeah, we should say that at the beginning of the webinar.
You can check and see if there are any worth talking about.
Yeah, every time. Well, so there's a good Rodell was pointing out that there is a good website that checks how good your password is. It's called security.org that you could check out.
And Adrian asked about the cyber insurance video. So we need to get the recordings up to YouTube. I'll make sure you get a link, Adrian, when
oh, didn't I dropped the ball on that, didn't I? I didn't send you the link so you could put it on YouTube.
Yeah, but I'll get them up there.
Okay. All right, no problems. All right, cool. So it is 11:40 and this was a 45-minute webinar, so I could give everybody back 5 minutes of their day. If we don't have any other questions, it doesn't look like we do.
I think we're good.
Well, thank you, everybody. It's been fun and happy Password Day. Go get some tequila. That's how you celebrate Password Day. Tequila and nachos.
Forget all your passwords.
Yeah, forget all your passwords. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Bill. Bye, everyone.